Michael Storm, anarchist of comic books and co-owner of Amazing Fantasies comic book shop here in Topeka, Kansas. And there's all of these wonderful comic books out here already, but it's Tuesday night and I had to put out some new ones. So click that like button and let's get going on this thing. An absolutely fabulous week for DC because it's all about absolute. Actually, you're not missing an absolute Batman. There is a new absolute Batman book this week, but it's a reprint. But the bigger thing is that we haven't been able to keep this on the shelf. And so now I have some on the shelf. I have a handful of issues, I think going back to 17 here. And then there's 15, great new Del Auto cover. I think the best one that he's done of them all so far. Always tough to see on camera, but try to give you a few different angles there so you can see it. But it's 15. It's the Joker origin story ultimately. Absolute Superman and Absolute Wonder Woman as well. Continues still strong, amazing stories. Part 2 of Kevin Smith's Bizarro. Year None is what it's called. Such a great pun and play on words. This Superman Father of Tomorrow, this is really great. This is issue 2 of this, and this is this Elseworlds. I've been talking about it. I keep pointing it out here each week because I really enjoyed the first issue, and I like the second issue as well, and I think it's building up just a fun story, and I love the Elseworlds stories, and I don't know why they don't make better use of them. It's just like the anthology stuff. This is your playground. This is a space that you could be playing around. This Supergirl Survive, that's another Elseworlds title that's out right now. It's such a great playground that they could be messing around in. And speaking of Supergirl, so I haven't talked about it. We've been talking about all these different Supergirl because the Supergirl title itself, the main title, is fantastic. It was only supposed to go to 6. It's at 14 or something like that now, 15, and going strong. There's a great storyline through it, and there's a lot of passion, a lot of work being put into it to make it good. And then, of course, there's that Supergirl Survive, the Elseworlds story I was just telling you about. And then there's this and a million other things, of course, because the movie's coming out, and that whole thing's a hot mess, right? Obviously, we've all, if you're like me, you haven't heard much, because I try to avoid it, but it's hard to avoid the sort of nonsense that surrounds some of these movies and some of the things that's gone on, not pointing any fingers at Disney or anything like that. But because it happens to DC too, but I just think that I think you're better off to just shut all of that rhetoric off. That's the thing that I do. I don't do spoilers of any kind, not even with the comic books. So it's hard for me to talk about the comic books unless I've actually read it, because I don't go looking for other information. Same with the movie. I can't tell you if Supergirl is going to be a good movie or not. I can tell you that the story that it's based on is a good story. And I can tell you that if you bought this Summer of Supergirl special, that you would enjoy the read. There's 3 fantastic stories in there. So there's fun. There's some battles. And we have an estranged relationship between Dogger and Lobo there. And speaking of Lobo, there was a couple of things that got missed last week that were at the bottom of a pile somewhere, and I had to end up eventually pulling them out, I think probably on Thursday. So some of them have already sold, but we still have some. We have these Lobo reprints. I assume they're doing all 4 of them. So this is the number 1 of them, and a couple of great covers, including the Superpowers collection, Lobo action figure cover, of course, the obligatory blank. And I still have the regular series as well. It's in there as well. And speaking of that, so this is issue number 4, Lobo. It ties directly into the summer special for Supergirl, as does the current Supergirl issue, which is escaping me off the top of my head. Why don't I see her? Where is she? Where is that great big... Oh, it's right there, 13, but I know there's at least 14. I think it's 15 already, because I know I've seen 14. And the next issue may actually be 16. Speaking of great comic books, you know this art, you know this character. It's not a Fantastic Four book. You have no idea what the book is. It's Captain America is what it is. But I just wanted to point this. I put it up here. You can see it, Captain America. There you go. And Doom, and he's in there. Yep, he's in everything. Doom Quest. Oh wait, no, not that one. We'll get there. Trust me, we'll get there. Just when you thought it was safe to put your wallet back in your pocket, no, we will get there. You get Johnny Storm here, this amazing Alex Ross cover, and he's doing a series of covers again, as he does for Marvel. He's just is fantastic. Doom Quest #2 is here. We still have some #1s, and we did manage to get some more of the 616 Earth's Mightiest Day Marvel mystery bags. These are great. There's a mask in there. There's potential for variants. In fact, I think all of them are variants. Everything I've seen out of here has been different, even different than the #1. So even though it's numbered the same in this sort of so here's the regular A cover, and you know how the numbering works on there, where you look at those numbers here, right? It's hard for me to point at. Let me set the thing down. There you go. You look at those numbers right there, and it tells you that it's issue #1, first cover, first print is what it tells you. And that's exactly the way they're labeled in the bags as well, but it's a completely different cover. In fact, I think I have one. Just real quick, I'll show you so you see the difference. Yeah, I did have them here. So this is one. This was out of the, in particular, the 616 bag that they sent us that was a special one. I did a video on it. It was so boring I didn't bother because it was just a couple of great covers, nothing special, different. And then there was these facsimiles. There's this Fantastic Four 258 facsimile, and then the original Doom Quest storyline. And the Invincible Iron Man 149. Those are facsimiles. Those were in there. Very cool. It was all very cool. It was just sort of pedestrian, I guess. And then the mask was just a foil mask. That was the only difference. And it even says sort of on the back of the package, on the back of the bags, it says something about it has this mask in there. And then the one that they sent that was supposedly special has a foil mask in there. But these just have the regular mask. And some chance to get some really cool. I'm just saying I didn't get anything cool. I'm bitter. That's what I'm getting at. Ultimate Impact Reborn. Of course, the Ultimate Universe has ended. It's over with, and the story has finished, and it's completely done. And oh wait. Okay. Well, the story is ongoing, and well, here you go. All three of them this week. Marvel has some issues, and man, they have some great issues. Holy, look at that. That's so beautiful. That's another one of these Care. So I went and found out it's Care, and they're male. They are, I guess. I don't want to get canceled by misgendering someone, but I didn't know who they were to begin with, and I went and found out a little bit more information because I love the art, and I don't know if you noticed or not, but it's very reminiscent of this sort of 90s style. And so what you get is a lot of this filled in. There's no wasted space in there, and that's what I like about the work. Okay, so yeah, I'm being a little bit tongue-in-cheek here, but I'm not. It's no wonder that Rob Liefeld earlier today was saying that Marvel should give over everything to he and McFarlane and Kirkman and Capullo and Ryan Otley and everybody else over there at Image, and that they should go forward with these Marvel properties that are struggling so much, and that's all relative. That's all relative to comic books in general. And all I could ask him was why. I just thought why. There you go. New Echoes of the Empire. A couple of the Rogue Ones. I just asked. New Venom. That one's brand new. Great cover. Wolverine's brand new. X-Men is new, and I have a couple of these floating around here. Some of these Magic the Gathering card covers. Some of them are better than others. That one's great. Just about anything with Storm on it is. What was I saying? Does it matter? Was it important? It probably wasn't. Oh, yeah, it was about Rob Liefeld. I said to him, I said, why? Why would you want to do that? Why not just let Disney and Marvel fall on their face? Because you've heard me talk about it before. This is what's going to happen. They'll either sell off the properties because they don't bring them money anymore and they don't want to be in the comic book printing industry, or they'll ultimately lease the properties out to somebody. And I guess that's what Rob was talking about, but I don't know why he necessarily would want to do that, nostalgia or something like that. He literally broke away from Marvel and that whole system and the way they treat artists and the way they treat properties and just the fact that they don't care about them because it's a corporate situation. Why would you want to go back into that? I don't know if he's responded to me yet. Maybe we'll see. A lot of great new stuff in the Independents. Wolfman right there. Another Universal Monsters. Bloodwire. Ace is really in love with Nora there, but Nora isn't really all together. In fact, her head is over there, and we're not exactly sure which one of them is her body. But as a robot, it's not a big deal. They'll just put her back together. But it is actually kind of a big deal because it's not as simple as her being a robot. There's more to it than that. The Eye Collector, the art in this thing is fantastic. It reminds me of the artist that did the Tool cover. They're trying to think of what the name of the cover is off the top, or what the name of the album is off the top of my head, but it just reminds me of it. And this is cool because this is sort of framed sometime around after we've managed to get to space. And as soon as we get into space, space starts turning its eye, if you will, to us and aliens and such things out there. Everything. Suddenly, Earth is in space. Earthlings are in space, and that's dangerous to space if there's any history to be believed there about humans. And having lived some of it, brand new Hellboy and BPRD one shot, easy to get into. Again, new Hector, Henchman and Nectar. A new comic book called Hector. So all four issues, fantastic story. Weird but great story. $1 Trillion Kid still #1. All stuff you can get into if you're done with superhero fatigue and tired of hearing whiny actors and actresses complain that the people don't support them, and that the people are the reasons that we are. If you'd make good movies and draw us to them, we would pay for them. But we don't not like your movies because of I don't even know what it is. They make a different excuse every time. Let's see. Void Rivals was new. We still have Mask. #1, no more blind bags. This was new. That's a sort of death of Snake Eyes, right? This is one of these skybound reprints of the G.I. Joe series, and there's a nice shiny cover. Destro ends up killing Snake Eyes, or does he? Nobody ever dies in comic books, right? Some people stay dead. Uncle Ben stays dead. Isn't that a rule? New Mind Management as well. Matt Kent, fantastic stuff. Sign up for a poll. Could win a copy of Haunt or whatever we happen to be giving away each month, because we always do. One final note, I suppose, on stories, and let's talk about controversy. This is something that's brewing up here just because all of a sudden John Byrne's name is on an X-Men book after 50 years. And so it's a big deal, but he's said things and had thoughts and created characters and said horrible things like there needs to be gay characters in comic books. There needed to be a gay character in comic books. So he created one. Whatever. Read the stories. Stop it with stop pretending that these people aren't flawed, these artists, these creators, that they're perfect, or that you need to worship them, or that by specifically buying and enjoying their art that you're actually enabling them in what it is they do. Come on now. You're spending $30 or at most on some of these things. Some of them are $50, $60, $70 on some of these bigger, thicker things. But you know, $4 or $5 on a comic book, most of it goes to the corporation, not the creator anyway. You know, how much do they have to give Marvel to do this? Even though they outsourced the printing on this and they've done sort of a backdoor kind of deal where it doesn't mean anything. We get this fantastic future X-Men story. It picks up where Phoenix leaves off when she splashes down in the water. This is where this picks up, and it's a different X-Men universe. And it's going to be 3 parts. We'll pick them all up. We'll carry them. We don't play the controversy game, but we do sell out of comic books. And if you're not on a pull list, these things may not be here when you get here tomorrow. And do us a favor, like, share this. If there's just one person who might find this interesting, share it with them and tell somebody about a comic book today. Give them a comic book. You don't even have to buy it from me. Go buy a comic book somewhere. Go pull one out of your collection and give one to somebody who's never read one before. And we'll see you next time.